Hi, my name is Clay Pawson, and today I'm doing a presentation on the design process of a local designer. It's Brett Madden, and he's an architect. Brett he's been a great designer and done a lot of work, and I've worked with him on as a cabinet maker, which was really insightful, and he's also did the drawings for my house. The process that he uses and that when he explained his process to me, this sort of process you can see in front of you rang true to line up with the way he works. And it's discovering, trying to find as much information and data as you can, and then bringing that back down, defining the limits of how a house is going to work, or bringing it to a more narrow scope, and then you sort of branch out and develop and try to find all your possibilities and develop the best outcomes, and then at the end delivering and the client's need. And this is for a residential house, this presentation. It will go through the 4 steps of this: discovering the client's wants and needs, and defining the limits of their site, and developing and working with those clients and delivering the final product to the council. So the first stage is meeting the clients, obviously, and getting all the initial information from them, which will be the size of the house, how many bedrooms they want, and how many cars they have, how big their family is, and then find out where they're building and what sort of budget they have for the building. And that meeting will be the first stage, and then go on to really looking up the block on council website, or seeking some information from council. Looking at the actual true aspect of the block, its streetscape, where services are, or any of the required drainage or issues or things that could come out of that council drawing. And most likely we'll go and do a site inspection if it's close enough to do so, and that's quite an important sort of part. That will give Brett a lot of information, essentially to do with the aspect of the slope of the land, and that's really important, because it really determines the solar passive design of the building, and it'll also point out any sort of glaringly obvious things that they'll want the building will need to incorporate. So that would be the views. You want to be knowing which primary direction you want to be seeing from. Also being just aware of how the breezes will come through the block, and how you'd want to catch them or block them, depending on the seasons. And there might be some things like a loud road that you want to block, or there might be a big industrial complex nearby, or a farm over there that you don't want to see. So there's those sorts of considerations that can really be only seen if you're on site. And then there's finding out about the client's lifestyle. And you'll be moving on to defining what this house design is going to be, and that could be sort of clarifying, interpreting, explaining all the things that they want into a design. So from that information that you've gained, you're getting from your previous experience as a designer, Brett, you'd sort of know the rough size of the house in relationship to the budget, the constraints of the site. Maybe get you thinking them through, starting to create a few ideas, like the direction of the views and the relationship of the solar aspect. It's all being sort of thought through. He's throwing around, getting some plans to start making some sort of preliminary floor plans so you can give these clients a few options. Wondering where the driveway is going to go, how many parking spots they need. Is there going to be a carport, garage? Those considerations need to be thrown into the mix and start to develop this idea. Yeah, the other thing might be the gardens, how important the garden is to the client's lifestyle, how they want to relate to it. In this process, you'll be finding where the house will sit on the block and how big the house's footprint is. And there might be some other considerations as well, which council may stipulate on, which might be the grey water, on-site sewage treatment, or the mains connections and stormwater runoff, and that stuff will be thought of in the beginnings of this stage and throughout it. At the end of this stage, probably developing some floor plan options essentially. Now we move into this development stage, which is essentially developing the house, the floor plans and the plans. You'll have a meeting at the beginning of this stage, and they literally need to choose a floor plan, the one that they're most happy with, and then you go into refining it with the clients. You really needed to incorporate as many of the desires of the clients into this house and maximise their views and everything to the best effect. Brett sort of says how the house starts to design itself because of all the information that you've gained and the limits of the site. It sort of things start to fall in place on their own. He described it as feeling like that. There's a lot of back and forth in this stage, and really sort of working out how to build character within the house, within the budget, to keep everyone happy. It's also very important in this stage is the people skills part of keeping both parties involved in the process, especially if they're a couple. And it can be, Brett explained that it can be a bit like you're a counsellor at sometimes, but it's not really a role. But for the best results, you need the parties involved to be on good terms and happy with what you're designing, and getting as much input from everyone as possible. And you'll be talking about some material choices, trying to get as much information down as possible throughout this stage, as this stage is developing the actual development application and all the little details that go into that. That won't be every detail, it'll just be all the details that will go on a plan. But you do want to try to nail down the specifics of window sizes, doorways, exactly how the floor plan will sit. You're looking at the house from its different angles, and you need the clients to be happy with all that. So these drawings are being developed. Probably by the end of this stage, you've pretty much finished the development application, and that will be handed into council. And this is the delivery stage, where you lodge this DA with the council, and hopefully don't change it. It's be expensive to change after this. Now, while you're waiting for the DA to be processed, Brett will start to work on the construction certificate. The construction certificate will involve an engineer's report, fire plans, and an energy efficiency plan. And as he's filling out those forms, he'll be, to and froing with an engineer. He'll also start working on the last part, which is the tender package. Yeah, so eventually they'll lodge this construction certificate, and he'll move on to working on the tender package. Tender package will have extra details, essentially just so they can get an accurate price from a builder, and that will be plumbing diagrams and cabinets, electrical sort of layouts, there'll be flooring details, tiled areas, door and window specifics, there'll be kitchen sizes for appliances, modern electrical systems that can be quite involved, heating, cooling, solar panels, often applicable these days, rainwater collection, which is also fairly applicable. Yeah, and then he basically, when he's finished that tender package, he's basically finished his job, and they'll put that off to builders to get some prices. And then this is the Gantt chart and a working timeline. His initial concept will take 1 to 2 weeks, and the DA will be sort of 2 to 3 weeks. And then there's a little crossover that will happen with the construction certificate and the DA. And then a few more weeks to go through the tender package and finalise all those drawings. Thank you very much. And thank you to Brett Madden. He was really great to work with, and thanks for all the information he provided.